The goal is always to win the series, especially when you're at home. I'd have to say that a 7-0 homestand is exactly what Dusty Baker certainly wanted, didn't necessarily expect to get, but that is the case. Joining me now is Julia Morales, the field reporter for the Astros on Bally Sports. And Julia, my goodness, a 7-0 homestand, and it was the pitching, a 1 earned run average during that time. How fun has that been to see?
It's been great. I mean, honestly, the pitching's been pretty good all season long. And I was trying to think back to those first couple of weeks and what was going on with this team. And I think with every team, that short spring training, everyone just kind of went out there. There was a lot of walks for the pitching staff, but not a lot of damage. So they were just kind of feeling things out and then really got on a roll. It was that last road trip where we saw the entire team get on a roll. But the starting pitching, you're absolutely right. And for them to be in that 6-man rotation and for everyone to come out and perform well and not just pitch well, but go deep into games. So now the bullpen's in a good place. The Astros are currently in a 33 games over 34 days and just had that day off yesterday. So really good time for the starting pitching to do really well. It's obviously led by Justin Verlander, who's pitching great, a great story already in 2022. So yeah, it sets the tone, right, for any team, but they've definitely done that despite the offense not doing what we thought the offense would do so far, but we got a long way to go.
You mentioned Justin Verlander, 3-1, a 1.93 earned run average, picking up where he left off before Tommy John surgery. And he's given you guys some length after going just 5 innings in his first start, I believe, giving you 5+. He's gone at least 6 in every other start. How key has that been?
Yeah, for sure. And that first start in Anaheim, that was the 3rd day of the season, right? Remember, everyone was like, why isn't Justin Verlander on the mound for opening day? Well, it was all a part of the plan of ramping him up very slowly. They're being very cautious with that new elbow that he's got in there. And it's fascinating when you start to really think that we haven't seen this guy pitch, game after game since 2019, the year he won the Cy Young Award. He only pitched that one day in 2020. So it's been a few years. And not as sharp as he would have liked in that first outing, that first start. You mentioned the 5 innings, but he was really good. The command was there. The curveball was there. The slider was pretty good. And he's just gotten better. Now he's in that 100 pitch range. We just saw him throw 100 pitches, which for him was a huge deal in all, checking the boxes. He keeps talking about how the doctors and therapists told him it would be 24 months before all of this would kind of be behind him. He's not to that point yet. There's still going to be some peaks and valleys, but he's got a good mindset about it all, and the team is in this with him as far as just making sure he's responding to everything really well. He said he does deal with some soreness, which he hadn't dealt with before in his career. All of that's normal coming off Tommy John surgery, and he's just not exactly the same out there, but my gosh, he has how many years and how many games of experience under his belt where he's using his instincts already to read hitters. So yeah, you're right. I mean, what he's doing for the pitching staff as far as the innings and of course the bullpen and the team, but then he's helping everybody else out. It's like he's really missed being a part of the team. I see him everywhere, talking to guys during games, helping guys with video. Just talked with Jake Odorizzi about this. Really helped him with a different perspective on mindset. So his presence is definitely being felt here in 22.
Yeah, a lot of wear and tear on that body, yet he's still being incredibly effective as many times as he's thrown that baseball. And he's also, as you mentioned, Julia, helped the other pitchers. And one thing I noticed when watching you guys in the World Series last year is just a few of your arms coming into form. Framber Valdez, of course, Jose Urquidy, Luis Garcia. How much have you seen them improve and develop over the course of the last year and change?
Yeah, they've grown up a lot and pitched in really big games. It helps when like a Jose Urquidy who showed up in 2019. And oh, by the way, a month later, you're pitching in the World Series. So they've had to grow up very fast. Framber Valdez, of course, has been around, but Luis Garcia has been a guy who's really grown up really quickly, just kind of made that huge jump from A-ball to pitching in ALCS games in 2020. It's just, they've done it very well. The amount of innings they put on their arms last year was definitely a concern. You remember how the World Series kind of played out. The Lance McCullers Jr. gets hurt, and they're leaning on some of these young guys to pitch in ways and as many innings as they've never done before. So they wanted to ramp all these guys up, which all goes back to the fact that the Astros are still sticking with a 6-man rotation and not really in a hurry to get out of it because they're trying to watch everybody. But they're doing a great job. I mean, they've got so much great experience under their belt, and Luis Garcia looked fantastic the other day. That cutter was deadly against the Detroit Tigers. They just continue to get better and more comfortable and get more innings under their belt. But all of these guys going deep into games. I know I mentioned that earlier, but gosh, that's been huge for all of them. It's a little healthy competition they've got going on within the starting staff so early on in the season. That's definitely been a big reason why they've won 11 out of their last 13.
I would never want to be the guy that has to replace a superstar. And Jeremy Pena is that guy for the Astros in the absence of Carlos Correa, but it hasn't fazed him at all. Is he a little bit older than his years would suggest?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I was impressed with him. Thinking back to Carlos Correa when he showed up, he was 18 when I first met him. He'd just been drafted and he was wise beyond his years. But I'm getting that vibe from Jeremy Pena. Of course, he played college ball. He is a little bit older on paper, but the maturity is there. This is a guy that missed, 2020 for a lot of minor leaguers was just kind of a wash year. They were just hanging out at the alternate side and not getting that game experience. Then he has an injury last year, so he misses a lot of games. He goes and plays winter ball. He honestly, he got a lot of experience just hanging out with the club. Remember that taxi squad, or as they like to call it, the Uber squad last year? I know these guys were just kind of hanging out, but being around a big league club and kind of seeing how they prep every day, watching those big games from inside the dugout, I think was huge for him. He got told he was going to be on the opening day roster just a couple of days before opening day was around, when we all know in the baseball world, when the Astros didn't sign a shortstop after Correa put on that Twins jersey, it would be him. He was going to be the guy. But he put his head down. He went to work. I think that the defense has been really exceptional for a guy who had, maybe a little bit of weight on his shoulders coming in. But the pop, we're all really impressed with the pop. And then the at-bats that he's had here recently, taking some big walks and just not letting, a bat seep into the next at bat. He's compartmentalizing very well for a young guy who's just been in the big leagues, 30 games now. They're trying to give him his rest every once in a while because he's playing in a lot of games, and it's been a while for him to play in that many games, but he is really impressed in so many ways. And just going to work, Justin Verlander didn't have enough great things to say about him, which if you're making that kind of impression on a guy like Justin, who's seen a lot of different rookies and a lot of different guys in this league, you're doing something right.
No question, a .368 average during a 6-game hitting streak. Julia Morales, the Astros field reporter, thanks so much.
Thank you.